Why do you need Connect Vermont when you've got the Vermont Telecommunications Authority?
Well, you know, I want to be clear, and Karen goes into this with her eyes wide open, that this is an extraordinarily ambitious goal. Let's be honest about this. Vermont's already missed once. Vermonters were led to believe that we'd have this done by 2010. Didn't happen. So VTA is a partner in getting this job done, but they cannot do it alone. And what has changed, really, Bob, is this simple. Two major grants have come through. The first is Smart Grid. The second is private funding, much of which went to Vermont Tech in that partnership. So we all understand that money is here that was not here. The coordination of this project is going to be critical to success, and VTA will be a part of the team, but we believe that Karen can bring all the players together to get it done.
So is Connect Vermont then a separate sort of division department? Is it going to be housed in any agency, or is it sort of just attached to the governor's office, or is it just a?
Karen will work as chief of Connect Vermont in the Secretary of Administration's office. There was a vacancy there. We used the dollars from that vacancy to help on this position, and she'll be working on the 5th floor.
What's the salary?
Salary is $115,000 a year.
What position does it replace?
I'm going to turn to the secretary to answer that one.
Well, every secretary and commissioner in state government and constitutional officers have a principal assistant position. We had one in our office that had been utilized at times during the Douglas administration, but wasn't currently being utilized. And that's the position. And the salary is the same salary that we provide agency secretaries in state government.
And I just think it's worth mentioning, as someone who's fiscally conservative, that we thought long and hard about how to get this done, that the salary investment here is teeny compared to the lost dollars to Vermonters if we fail in this mission. If we don't connect Vermont by 2013, we cannot compete for jobs, we cannot deliver cost savings in single-payer health care, we cannot be part of the rest of the world's economic growth. So the stakes are high, and I made the judgment that this was the right place to invest taxpayers' money to make sure we get this done.
So it's a 3-year temporary position?
Well, you know, we're delighted. I've mentioned before, I spent a lot of time on the telephone over the last 7 or 8 weeks convincing extraordinarily qualified private sector people to take pay cuts and come work for the state that they love. This discussion was no different. So I'm just delighted that we have Karen for at least a year, and we're going to have her for as long as she's willing to stay and get the job done.
So the grants will now be in your office, you'll administer all the grants?
No, they will not. The NTIA grants that came down, and I don't know that we anticipate that there will be more NTIA or RUS or DOE money coming down in terms of the federal dollars. Those will be, one of them is being administered through VTA. One of them was directly granted to VTEL. There are various other entities that have received federal funding. So there's no flow of dollars, if you will, through my role. My role is really, think of it this way, in simple term, you know, there needed to be kind of a very high-level project manager, somebody who really had the entire scope of all of the different moving parts in this initiative. The role is inside government, it's outside government, it's with the private sector, it's with the legislature, it's with the utilities, it's with various departments throughout state government. So think of this as kind of that grand project manager, if you will, who's just got an eye at all times and is moving all the different parts forward.
I just want to add something to that. It's really important that you understand the challenge that Karen and we have before us. It's a project manager moving people together who have no responsibility, frankly, to move with you if they choose not to. Let's remember, the utilities have a huge federal grant to deliver smart grid. Telecom is not a part of that mission. The private sector providers have federal money to help deliver cell service and broadband. Smart grid is not a part of that initiative. So we're on both a diplomatic and technical journey together. And it's going to take someone like Karen, because frankly, folks don't have to cooperate unless they care deeply about the state.
So you committed to 1 year, is that right?
I've committed to get this done. I want to see, every last mile built out. And by last mile, that may be fiber deep into community institutions, libraries, community centers as we see it. My job is to get all those miles in between to the last mile.
And as we sit here today, what is the percentage of the state that lacks broadband and,
Don't ask us. A lot. All you have to do is use your cell phone to answer the majority.
Right, and you know what? It's not just the provision of service, it's the quality of service. And there's one thing about services and being there, but we also have to understand the incredible leap that consumers are making in terms of behavior at this point in time. When you think about all of you and whatever cell phone device you have, and that 3 years ago, you probably weren't downloading data, okay? And today you are. And if we look at, by 2013, the projection in the industry is a 10-fold increase on an individual basis in the amount of data that we will download. So the key is not just that the services are there provisioned, but that we have a quality of service that can give us the kind of knowledge and information that our students want, that our healthcare centers need. And for instance, how we become the most energy efficient state in the nation. That's through part of this technology backbone.
So is that largely through fiber?
In terms of energy efficiency?
No, in terms of,
No,
Yeah.
Our technical view, if you will, if we had to look at the architecture, technical priorities are, number one, a wireless canopy that covers the state by 2013, fiber deep into communities. Okay, that's really the marriage, if you will, of the technical pieces. We need both of those. They work in sync with one another. Fiber provides backhaul for towers. Towers give us the ability to provide wireless broadband. Those two have to come together at the same time. And the third piece is really to, if you will, maximize even the existing connections that we have to the home that are copper or they're coax cable or DSL at this point. As you shorten the miles, as you shorten the amount of space, if you will, that information has to travel, all of those modalities through compression become better and more effective.
And we will be introducing a bill next week that we've spoken with legislative leadership about, the Speaker, Senate President, and others that will help with some of the outstanding issues that I mentioned in the budget address yesterday.
So does that include some of the, relaxing some of, not just what you talked about in your budget address, but relaxing some of the permit regulations in terms of the public side and getting resources deployed through towers and other things, but also what Senator Luzzi has talked about releasing some of the, maybe the regulations on some of the existing providers in order to have them, enable them to deploy faster?
That particular piece, in terms of the proposals that he made around the Fairpoint questions, are
Correct.
not a part of our initial initiative.
Okay.
Are any of these permitting relaxations something that might make you uncomfortable also? Sort of setting the stage for relaxing permitting?
I wouldn't propose anything that I thought would in any way degrade Vermont's environmental quality. And we have a question that we all have to ask as Vermonters. Do we want cell service and broadband access across the state? If the answer is yes, then we're going to have to build some towers, and we're going to have to string some cable, and we are going to have to do it quickly. So, the answer is we will not propose anything that degrades our long commitment to environmental protection. At the same time, the necessity for towers is different than we thought it was 20 years ago or 10 years ago. And we have to accept that as a family and move on. Great, thanks for joining us. Glad you only have a question.